Good, everybody. Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. We got people in the Discord already saying I'm early because I'm telling them about 60 seconds before we go live that I'm already live. Look, I didn't know y'all was going to be in here waiting. I appreciate you being here waiting. I see we got a couple questions already in, but what we are here for tonight, as we are almost every single Friday. Who am I kidding? It's every single Friday of the season. We are here. We are answering questions that you guys have that are fantasy football related, redraft, dynasty, trades, waivers, anything you got. You got an hour of my time tonight. I'm going to answer all of these for you. I appreciate you being here. First and foremost, first person in the chat tonight, Caleb. He says, we start this mug off with the first question of the night. In hindsight, did I win the Mahomes trade? What was the Mahomes trade? I can't even remember what the Mahomes trade was. Look, I got a hair right there on the mic, but I want to say it was something like, apologize, guys, apologize. I want to say the trade was like Mahomes for, I don't know, Caleb. I can't remember, bro. I see so many trades. You gotta remind me what the trade was, and I'll tell you if you won it. Maybe you did. Raul says, sup, Caleb. Really enjoyed your video a few hours ago. The player who can go nuclear this week. Niners says full PPR, start one, flex Chase Brown, Trey Sermon, Darius Slayton. This is what we're working with. Oh, he says, okay, full PPR. So here we go. In this type of situation here right now, I personally like Chase Brown. I like Chase Brown this week. I think Chase Brown is a solid start. I would be playing him in the flex. I think he has the most upside of all of these players, despite what Trey Sermon did last week, despite what Darius Slayton did last week. Second question from Niner. He says standard league. Start two. You got Christian Kirk, Jerome Ford, or Darius Slayton. This one's tougher. I think in a standard league, I would probably go Jerome Ford and Darius Slayton, and I would be leaving Christian Kirk on the bench. And then he says, Superflex Dynasty. Your thoughts on Daniel Jones' trade value long-term? He's my QB3, but I'm willing to trade him for rookie picks. Yeah, I think Daniel Jones has helped his Dynasty trade value this season so far. I mean, he was a guy that was being ranked in like the 30s, like QB 31, 32. I mean, let's just look over at KTC just to see where his value has changed over the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks of the season, because not that we're going to be using KTC as the end all be all, but I think it shows how the market reacts. It's a very reactionary way to look at the market. And right now he's QB 27. So the market says he's trending up. We believe he's trending up. The play shows that he's been trending up. What would I give for a guy like Daniel Jones? Or I guess what would I be willing to take if I was selling Daniel Jones? I think right now I would prefer Daniel Jones than any second round pick. Next year's draft class, quarterback wise, if you were looking to replace the quarterback, I don't know if there's a better quarterback that you can get in the second round than Daniel Jones. And that might be hard to hear, I think, just because we want quarterbacks to be good at the NFL level. But right now, like, I'm thinking some of the best fantasy football quarterbacks, early impressions for me in the 2025 class. You're looking at guys like Jalen Milroe, maybe guys like Shedeur Sanders. Like, those are some of the better fantasy football quarterbacks that I think are going to show up in this class. Not that they're going to be QB1, and I don't think you guys are going to get those in second rounds of drafts. So Daniel Jones right now, it's got to be a first. I got to get a first round pick, even if it's a late one. I need a late first round pick for Daniel Jones to move him in a super flex dynasty. I think he's kind of playing his way into another year under center with Malik Neighbors and with this offense. So there was all the rumors of them wanting to get Jaden Daniels this offseason. They didn't do it. Daniel Jones is playing fine. I think he's earning another year at the moment. George, he says half PPR, weak at receiver with Devontae and Nico out. Preach. I have Mixon coming back. Do I trade David Montgomery and Christian Kirk for Achane and Terry McLaurin? Interesting. I don't hate it. I prefer Terry McLaurin over Christian Kirk. I think you would be buying low on Achane at the moment. We think that Tua Tagovailoa will be back week 8. In my opinion, I think this is a move that you can make. If this is an offer on the table, I'm more than okay taking Achane and McLaurin. with you having Mixon coming back and Devontae and Nico out at the moment. So I definitely don't dislike that deal for you, and I would take it if it's on the table. Luca says PPR, 1 running back and 1 flex. We got Eckler, Moss, Amari, and Wicks. I'm going to go with, at the moment, my gut says that we should be going with Eckler and Amari. I think we should be going with Eckler and Amari in the PPR. George says, my running backs are Mixon, Montgomery, Chase Brown, and Tracy. Yeah, I mean, you have the running back depth. You can make that move. Raul says, pick one. We got Mooney, Bucky, Moss, Wicks at flex, 10-man full PPR. You got to play Darnell Mooney. The way that Darnell Mooney has been playing, you have to play him. That defense in Carolina, it's pretty weak. He should keep feasting in PPR formats. Dom says, 2, pick Trey Sermon, Singletary, Tracy Jr., and Slayton. I guess it's Singletary / Tracy Jr., depending on whoever the starter is. If that is the case, I'm going to go with Sermon and whoever the starter is for the running back there in New York with Singletary or Tracy Jr. Luca says, also PPR flex 1, Sermon, Tolbert, Tyrone Tracy, or Trey Tucker. I kind of really like Tolbert this week. In a PPR, I think I'm going to go with Tolbert here. Cody says, gave up my 2025 third for Darius Slayton, plus got a late 4th in return. I have Malik on this Dynasty team, 4-1 currently. I don't hate it. You know, a third for Slayton and a 4th, you move back 1 round. Who cares? Who cares about moving back? You get production this week. If you feel like you can play Slayton in there and he can get you a win this week, it's worth it. Frankie, full PPR. We got Pollard or Jacobs rest of the season. Give me Jacobs. Give me Josh Jacobs. I think that offense is so good there in Green Bay. I think they're only going to get better. Jacobs is going to get even more efficient. There's going to be more goal line opportunities. I like Josh Jacobs the rest of the season over Tony Pollard. Both of these guys should be good players, but Jacobs is the guy that I would pick out of these two. Raul says pick 3. Najee, Connor, Bucky, Trey Sermon, Madison, 10-man full PPR. Give me Najee, Connor, and Bucky. Give me Najee, Connor, and Bucky there. And I see we got a super chat from Failures No Option. Appreciate the super chat. The super chat says, pick 1, PPR, flex Montgomery or Brian Thomas. Give me David Montgomery. Give me David Montgomery. That is definitely the player that I want to play. I have him as a start of the week for me this week against the Cowboys. Play David Montgomery there, and I appreciate you for the super chat. That is a reminder, folks. If you want to skip the line, you see I'm trying to work my way down. If you want to skip the line and get to the top, super chat is the way to do it. So appreciate you if you guys do that. But that is the best way to skip the line and get your question answered quicker. There you go. Frankie, my guy, says, would you trade Pollard, BTJ for Achane? Would I trade both of them for Achane? I don't think so. Not right now. Johnny says, is Musgrave droppable in a non-tight end premium league? Look, in a redraft, 100% you're dropping him. In a dynasty, probably droppable, but I understand if you want to hold him on a taxi, but it's not looking good for Musgrave right now in a dynasty. Aiming says, so I got a trade. I give Drake London and Achane for DJ Moore, BTJ, and Ramondre, full PPR. Would you take this trade? I give London and Achane for... No, I'm not doing that. I'm keeping London and Achane there. Johnny says, never trade away Monty. I don't disagree with that at the moment. Cody says, what are the tiers of running backs I could get for Romeo Doubs in a half PPR redraft league? Probably not great, honestly. You're probably not getting too much. I'd say maybe a guy like Jerome Ford. Maybe you can get a guy like Alexander Madison. Like this is the range of guys that we're going with. I don't think Romeo Doubs is a hot commodity in a half PPR redraft league. You're kind of looking at fringe running backs, Tank Bigsby's. Like I think that's kind of where you're looking at. Raul, he says Bigsby or Bucky for the RB2 spot. RB1 is James Conner. I think right now with Rashad White looking like he's trending out, Bucky Irving is the play. Bucky's the play for me. Claxton says start 2, Moss, Ford, Taji. Moss and Ford. Those are the 2. We already got that one. Appreciate that. Oscar says sold Dell and Pittman for Puka in Dynasty. How do we feel about that? I don't mind it at all, actually. I think Dell right now, in all fairness, I think Dell's probably a little bit of a buy low in Dynasty just at the moment. Pittman probably is a buy low as well, but so is Puka. All of these players are injured or have bad play, kind of suppressing their value. I think Puka's the best player in the deal, and so I don't mind you, 2 for 1 to upgrade the position to Puka Nacua. Definitely not a bad trade. Caleb says major booms in the chat for failures with the super chat. We talking about a boom. Love it. Claxton says start 2 full PPR. Moss. Start full PPR. That's the edit. Full PPR still doesn't change my opinion. It's Moss and Ford here. Zach the Saint says, how concerned should we be on Jordan Mason? Everything right now that I'm hearing is that it's minor. I don't think it should be that concerning. The fact that he was wanting to come back in and play and then he didn't play the rest of the half is a little bit annoying. Gave us false hope. I had Jordan Mason running in my home league. It sucked to see him, come back in one play and then see you later, buddy. But I don't think we should be too worried. Obviously, you had the worry of CMC's on the way. At least that's what it sounds like. It sounds like CMC's on the way. He's targeting November as the return date. Early November is what they're saying. We'll see. You don't want to see Jordan Mason give up opportunity and let a guy like Isaac Garendo, get touches and look all right. You don't want that to happen. But Jordan Mason right now, I think if he's healthy next week in the lineup, like that, it's kind of what I'm expecting at this moment. I don't really expect him with the longer wait not to be the starting running back next week. So I'm not superly concerned. I'm not overly concerned. I think it's the same way we've been operating with him. Michael, is it time to trade Andrews and what is likely coming back? Is it time to trade Andrews? I mean, in a redraft, like if you can trade Andrews, absolutely. In a dynasty, I'm not trading Mark Andrews in a dynasty at the moment. Look, we just did our Dynasty trade show right now earlier today. It's coming out tomorrow. We had a long discussion about Mark Andrews. It was probably 10 minutes long, talking just strictly about Mark Andrews and his value at the moment. I do not believe he is a guy that I'm selling in Dynasty. I think there's a lot of juice left there, a lot of gas left in the tank for Mark Andrews. I think it's usage. But in a redraft format, I mean, yeah, we got to move him right now because we can't really get anything out of him. And what can you get for Mark Andrews? Not a lot in redraft. In redraft, you're probably getting, I mean, if you can get a Tucker Kraft, you probably are making a move like that. But I just can't imagine many people are going to give you too much unless they're just buying into name value. Johnny says Andrews is done, cooked. I disagree there, Johnny. Disagree. Frankie says, so would you trade Pollard /JSN for Jacobs? Yeah, I don't have an issue with that at all. I don't have an issue with that. Sham says, should I trade or should I flex Downs, McConkey, or Pickens this week? How about rest of season? Well, it sounds like Anthony Richardson is going to be back in the lineup this week. And if Anthony Richardson is back in the lineup this week, I don't love Downs. And I actually made Downs a sit of the week for me this week. I just don't like the matchup. I don't love the outlook with Anthony Richardson under center. That said, he's looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. It's not McConkey for me. It's probably Pickens this week. Rest of season, Pickens is the most talented player rest of season there. But if Justin Fields loses a hold on the starting job and it does end up being Russell Wilson, I think Pickens is much better with Russell Wilson under center. Richie, my guy, he says start Braylon Allen, Roschon, or Jaleel. You start Roschon. The matchup's the best for him, and I just think he has an actual consistent goal line role, and with the goal line role, you're going to get more points. So give me Roschon there. Raul says, is Jalen Tolbert a worthy pickup from waivers Available in 5 leagues I'm in. I think so. I'm picking him up and flexing him this week. Now that's mainly because I need him. I have Nico Collins on the roster, and obviously now I got to fill that spot. I'm picking up and playing him this week. I think he looked very good last week with Cooks out. He's on bye next week, so you got to keep that under, in the back of mind. But I think he's definitely a worthy pickup. He's a guy that I definitely would target on waivers if he's still available. Non-wavy, by the way, says start Bucky Irving or J.K. Dobbins. I'm leaning Bucky. I agree. I think you can lean Bucky there. Austin says projected to get the 102 in a Dynasty. 1-year rebuild. How important is it to get the 101? We're selling 3 to 4 good players, you think? Absolutely not. Especially in a year like this where, right now the 101 looks like it's going to be Ashton Jeanty. And if it's Jeanty who's a running back, you're not selling 3 to 4 good players to go get the 101. That doesn't make sense. The teams that would have went and sold the farm to go get Bijan, it's not looking great at the moment. You just don't sell in a rebuild a ton of assets that you can use for a running back. And that's who it looks like is going to be the 101 at the moment. I think at the 102, you're more than fine being there. I wouldn't sell the extra assets to go get, just move up the one spot. Probably not worth it. So I think you're fine where you're at. In a rebuild, just a couple tips that I'm doing. I'm trying to diversify. I'm trying to turn my older assets into 2 assets. So if you can get 2 for 1s, a young guy plus a pick, keep you liquid, be able to move, the liquidity later down the line to get, more players. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to multiply my assets while I'm not trying to win. And then when it's time for you to win a year from now in that rebuild, you can consolidate those assets into better players. So, you multiply now, consolidate later. That's the way that I would go about it. And if you really still have questions about rebuilding, there is a video on this channel that I made in the summer. It's how to rebuild. It's literally called How to Rebuild in Dynasty. And I strongly suggest watching that video because that video is, I really enjoyed making that video, and I feel like there's a lot of good information about how to rebuild a team properly. So go check that out if you haven't. Where are we at? Oscar. He says, also, Puka will be my wide receiver 3 to 4 between him and Garrett Wilson, sitting behind CeeDee. Nice. Josiah says, my weekly Go Pack Go. Hey, you can come in and you can throw as many Go Pack Goes as you want, I guess. Zach says, start ETN or Brian Robinson this week. Nervous with London game for ETN, but Robinson hasn't practiced. Yeah, Robinson is very risky. And I think the problem is last I heard, is a game-time decision. And if he's a game-time decision and ETN is playing in London, he's going to have played early in the morning, and you won't know whether or not he is going to play. So I think the safest thing to do is probably just play ETN. If Brian Robinson is the game-time decision and he plays, you live with that. But you would much rather have played ETN and then not have Brian Robinson be out as a game-time decision. So I probably suggest just playing the earlier guy there. Unfortunately, even if he probably doesn't have a higher ceiling, it's the safer thing to do. And you'd rather be safe than sorry, I think, with a situation like this. South Sea, would you start Slayton, Moss, or Mixon if he plays? Could you rank them? Well, if he plays, Mixon is light years better than these guys. So Mixon would be number 1, and there would be a massive gap. And then I think it would probably be, depending on if it's PPR. If it's full PPR, you probably go Slayton and then Moss. If it's a half PPR, it's probably Moss then Slayton. So Mixon, Slayton, Moss in a full PPR is the way that I would rank it. Romeo says half PPR, you start 1 running back, 1 flex. Rico, Sermon, Gibson, Wicks, Wandell. 1 running back, 1 flex, half PPR. Give me Rico and Wandell. Richie says, so would you say Braylon Allen is droppable? I would not be dropping Braylon Allen at this point. Definitely not right now. Probably not. Yeah, not. We're not dropping Braylon Allen. Frankie says, do you think Hawkinson will be productive rest of season? I'm looking to package a trade with Kincaid and Pollard for Jacobs. I do think Hawkinson can be productive the rest of the season. Look, when you're looking at guys like Kincaid, you said you're trying to package a trade with Kincaid and Pollard. Kincaid has not been productive this year. So, plugging in a guy like Hawkinson, he's going to equal what Kincaid has done so far this year, and he might be better. So, I definitely believe that if you can package those two together, go get Jacobs, and then you have Hawkinson coming back from IR, it just is a no-brainer to me. Raul says, Pick'em, you went 4-0 last week and made me be in first. We got Chargers at Denver, Colts at Titans, Commanders at Ravens. Let's do what we always do here, Raul. I'm glad that I was at least serviceable for you last week. But let's pull up the schedule. I need to remember who's where. So, Chargers at Denver. Give me Los Angeles. Colts at Titans. I think I'm going to take the Titans. And then Commanders at Ravens. I like the Ravens. So Ravens, Titans, Chargers. That's my picks for you there, Raul. Hopefully we can go 3-0 this week if I went 4-0 for you last week. Parsonator says start 2 PPR, Bucky, Algier, Gibson, or Tracy. Bucky and Gibson right now. Dixon, Dak or Anthony Richardson rest of season. Dak. Dixon also says flex 1 in PPR, Najee, Tolbert, or Dontavion Wicks. I think it's Najee this week. Austin, about the 102 to 101 question, I meant more worth trying to trade young players for picks to lower my max points for. I more mean how aggressively would you sell in a rebuild? Do you sell near your whole team? Okay, so that's a little bit better of a way to phrase that, and so I can actually answer that a little bit differently. I like to strip it down to the studs. So I think players that you would view as cornerstone pieces, guys that are young, that you believe have high upside, things like that. Like cornerstone pieces to me right now would be like if you have a Jaden Daniels, if you have a Malik Neighbors, if you have guys like Drake London even, those types of assets. Sam Laporta would be a cornerstone tight end. Like young players that are high scorers or high projected scorers every year. I think those are the players that you want to have on the team. You don't want to move those. Older assets, running backs. Pretty much I don't roster any running backs at all. Like if you have any type of running back of any type of value, I'm selling it and I'm stripping those all the way down to nothing. And then I will rebuild the running back position late. That's kind of how I would operate. So that hopefully answers the question a little bit better for you, Austin. Rams. Dynasty full PPR 1.75 for tight end, Superflex, start 11-12 team. I'm 3-7. The lineup is Kyler, Caleb, Bijan, Justice Hill, Rome, Ladd, T, Hawk, McBride, Ayuk, Polk. Try to trade Bijan for Reed and either JSN or Dell. I don't mind it. Trading Bijan for Reed and JSN or Dell, I think that's fine. Look, at 3-7, it's not fully time to blow up, but you're getting close to the point where, it might be too far gone. So I do think that, we get to the point here where we're close and you could start considering trading Bijan. I will say, I traded Bijan away on a team this week, actually. It was a 3-team deal. I traded away in my side of the deal, Trevor Lawrence and Bijan. I got back Jalen Hurts and Brian Robinson Jr. And that was a super flex 6-point passing touchdown. So I traded away Bijan for me in a Dynasty League this week. Just not happy with what I've drafted Bijan to have so far. I mean, he finished as RB9 last year, but all in all, running back is replaceable, especially in next year's draft class. So for sure. Raul with the super chat, my guy, dude. He says, the GOAT, as always, shouts out to you, bro. Shout out to you, Raul. You are also the GOAT, so I appreciate you so much. Where are we at, man? Dixon says, flex 1, Slayton or Bateman in PPR. It's rough out here. Yeah, it's rough. Bateman was my start of the week, a deep cut start of the week on the BDGE show, but Slayton is definitely a better play with Neighbors out. Rams House says, I also got offered Marvin Harrison Jr. for Bijan and Hawk, but declined. Was that the right move? To be honest, no, I don't think so. Like, if you can get, Hawk is an aggressive add-in, but I think maybe if you have McBride on the roster, I would try and go reignite that trade and see what you can get. Like maybe you can have them throw you something else into the deal small, but I would much rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. than Bijan right now in Dynasty, and Hawk is an aggressive add-in, but if you can get something small thrown in back, I'd probably look at that. Maybe if you can get I don't know, if they have a middling tight end, an Njoku, a Tucker Craft, something like that, just like another throw-in tight end, I would try and get that thrown in and make this move. Jacob says, start ETN or Antonio Gibson. Oh, why are we here at this point in the fantasy football season already? I think it's Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson's probably the move there. Johnny says JMO or Jettas this week. Are you serious, brother? JMO. You're gonna make me say it, obviously, because he on bye. Cruz says, what up? Emil says, thoughts on Mark Andrews rest of the season? Redraft, it ain't looking good. Dynasty, he's a buy low. But like I said, there's a long Mark Andrews conversation that we had today. It just, I don't know. I have a lot of hope for him, but there you go, man. We'll see. Hope it only gets you so far. Arizona says, need some help with my flex play. Roll with JMO or Downs. I could also get Sermon or Gibson on waivers. I like JMO there. Roll with JMO. He's the play. And Johnny, you're in the chat. So he said, I just wanted to hear you say JMO over Jettas at least once this year. Well, there you got it. While you're here, Johnny, what is this Jameson Williams gun charge thing that I'm hearing rumors of but not finding any information on? You know anything, Mr. Detroit? You know anything about this rumor? Because I can't find any real information about it, but I've heard quite a lot of rumors about it. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you know something I don't. Cap for Life says, hey, bro, 14-team PPR league flex spot. You got Gibson, Mitchell, Schultz. Thoughts on Vidal? I have JK. 14-team PPR, I think if you have JK, picking up Vidal, if you have the roster spot, is not a bad idea. When you're looking at the flex spot between these guys, I think Antonio Gibson is the play between those guys. So not bad overall. Did we just answer? We already answered that one. Cap for Life says, what are we doing with Devontae Adams? You're holding Devontae Adams if you have him on your roster. There's going to be a solution here very shortly. It sounds like he may still be with the Raiders. It sounds like he may get traded, but the point is, until he's back on the football field, you're not selling him low. So I would be holding Devontae Adams at the moment and just, streaming the wide receiver position for the week or two that he's out. Richie says, how would you rank Leggett if Deontay Johnson sits this week? If Deontay sits this week, I think Leggett would be, let me pull up my rankings at the moment. Where are we at? Wide receiver rankings. I think if he sits this week, he becomes interesting. He kind of falls into that like Ladd McConkey, Calvin Ridley, Dontavion Wicks type of tier, a wide receiver 3 play, a flex play. That's kind of where I would get with him. I wouldn't rank him super high, but he definitely gets interesting. Like, yeah, probably a top 30 play for me if he's out. Where we at? Austin says, choose one this week, Justice or Tajay, full PPR. Oh, man, this is rough. This is one where I'm just going to have to refer to the ranks rather than give you some gut feel. I'm going to go with Taji. Yeah, Taji's the play there. Also, full PPR, Pickens, Kirk, Wandell, choose one. Full PPR, give me Wandell, man. It's crazy that we're saying that, but give me Wandell. Johnny says it's all from a bogus Twitter account. There's nothing about it at all. I mean, I hope there's nothing about it because you'd hate to see that type of stuff happen in the fantasy season and for JMO in general. But I saw the rumors and I was like, hell no. Mark says, you may have discussed already. I'm coming in late, but what do you think about Ridley over BTJ due to matchup? Look, I think the matchup is tough for BTJ, and I don't love it. And I really, if you have other options, I think feasible options, you can consider starting them over BTJ this week. Ridley, I do not love the matchup either. He still plays Indianapolis. Actually, who am I kidding? I like the matchup for Ridley, but I just don't like the offense. So I still think I would lean BTJ in the bad matchup. I appreciate you being here, Mark. Rams House says full PPR, Wandell or Jacobs. Give me Jacobs. Timbo Slice. I need help. Full PPR, Darius Slayton or George Pickens. Pickens snap count from last game worries me. I kind of agree. Las Vegas hasn't been great, though, against the wide receiver position. Las Vegas defense in general just hasn't been great. If it comes down to Slayton and Pickens, I think I'm still going to play Pickens over Slayton this week. Yeah, I'm just looking at my rankings. I'm double checking. Yeah, I'd still be playing Pickens. Where are we at? Whole team is questionable this week. Love to see it. Half PPR, need 3. Chase Brown, Brian Robinson if he's in, Wicks, Downs if AR5, Kraft. Wow. Chase Brown is the play. If B-Rob is in, he's in. And I think I go Kraft over Wicks and Downs. So it would be Brown, B-Rob, and Kraft. If B-Rob is not in, I don't mind playing both Green Bay receivers with Wicks and Kraft and then go Chase Brown as well. I don't love Downs with AR in the lineup. Raul says, will Kamara be a viable option with no QB play? I think he's still going to be. And honestly, look, this might be the dynasty in me. I like to watch the college prospects. I think Spencer Rattler is better than people give him credit for. He looked really good in the preseason. I would not be surprised if Spencer Rattler goes out there, kind of slings the football around the field. Maybe he's not going to check down as much as a guy like Derek Carr, but I think Spencer Rattler is going to be all right. So I'm not too worried about Kamara this week. In fact, when we're talking about Kamara in my rankings, I still have Kamara as my, where is he? Running back. Where do I have him? Running back 5 in my rankings, even with Spencer Rattler. So there you go. Rolla says full PPR, rank them, and then we don't got no players. Here we are. PPR, rank them. Mixon, Singletary / Tracy, Dell, or Jameson Williams. I think if they play, it's going to be Mixon number 1, JMO 2, Dell 3, Singletary / Tyrone, whoever's the starter there 4. That's the way that I would do it. Craig, Kirk Cousins or A-Rich? It's Kirk Cousins for me. I have this exact start-sit decision in my league this week, and I'm going Kirk Cousins over Anthony Richardson. Flex 1, Dowdle, Keenan, Leggett. If Deontay Johnson does not play, it is Leggett. If Deontay Johnson plays, it is Rico Dowdle. Half PPR, Flex 1, Wicks, Tracy, Myers, Adunze, Tajay, also Caleb, AR5, or Baker. Well, the one flex for me would be if Singletary does not play, it's Tyrone Tracy. If Singletary plays, it's Dontavion Wicks. The quarterback, it's between Caleb and Baker. I'm not playing AR right now. I think it's Caleb. Caleb's the guy that I would play. No problem, Mark. Boston says 12-team PPR, JD5, Gibbs, Connor, Amon-Ra, Garrett, Ferguson, Debo, bench. All of these guys. Package Connor or Ferguson with Chase and a piece for an upgrade. Package Connor or Ferguson with Chase? I don't think I would. I guess you can package. I'm more likely to package Ferguson if you still want to make the package deal. I would rather package Ferguson because I believe that Kraft is better than moving off of James Conner. But I don't know if I would package anybody unless you can really get a decent deal with Ferguson and Chase thrown in. So, yeah, I don't think you need to. Austin says flipped Waddle for Rice rebuilding. Thoughts? Not a bad deal. I think when healthy, you probably want Rice over Waddle. And so flipped him in a rebuild. You get 0 points in your lineup for the rest of the year. That helps you with your draft capital, your draft pick. Savvy move. Dixon says full PPR, would you play Wicks or Ridley? I would play Wicks, assuming Christian Watson is not in the lineup. Nino traded Kamara and Higgins for Saquon and Dell. Any thoughts? Yeah, I'm not. I love Saquon. Saquon's the best player in this deal. I think the best side of the package is Kamara and Higgins. Dell is a sketchy wide receiver right now. I don't know. I can't really fully buy into Dell until I see him go out there and do it. He's going to have an opportunity this week. It might be a good opportunity, but I think the safety of a Kamara and Higgins side, I think I prefer that at the moment. Juan says, bro, should I trade Breece Hall and tank Dell for Stephon Diggs? I got Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, and Jerome Ford. My wide receivers are Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jacoby Myers. Wow. Okay. Do you trade Breece Hall and tank Dell for Stephon Diggs? That's a lot to give up. I think you lose that trade. So while I agree that you should be trading one of your running backs to go get a wide receiver, this is not the deal that I would be making. All right, where are we at? Nino, also, which side would you prefer, Olave and Spears or Scary Terry and Bucky? Give me Terry and Bucky. Cheryl says full PPR, need 2 flex, Chuba, Dobbins, Flowers, or Mooney. Chuba and Flowers. Johnny says Olave and Shaheed take a huge hit in value with Rattler. Yeah, here's the way that I view it. I think that Olave takes a hit. Shaheed takes a massive hit because I don't believe that they're going to be able to hit the deep ball as much as often. And also the younger guys, the younger quarterbacks, they tend to dial in on that first read, so that should be Olave. Both of them will take a hit, but Shaheed's is a much larger hit than Olave's. Olave should still be salvageable. And so I think he's still kind of a low-end wide receiver to play with Rattler under center. Shaheed, he's like a guy that, like, now you're probably thinking, do I bench him this week? Roladala says, am I crazy to consider Kirk Cousins over Hurts this week? I would be playing Jalen Hurts personally over Kirk Cousins. Michael says, should I trade Monty and Pat Freiermuth for Achane and Pitts, full PPR? Freiermuth and Pitts are just, who cares? It's Monty versus Achane. In 2 weeks, you'll want Achane probably over Monty, but right now, the Monty and Freiermuth side is more valuable. If you can afford to have worse running back play for 2 weeks, I don't mind you going with the Achane side. But if you need wins right now, you probably need to stick with Monty. Johnny says starting Dowdle against Detroit is a bad plan. Yeah, I mean, everybody also thought it was a bad plan last week to play Kenneth Walker, including myself, and Kenneth Walker went absolutely nuts. So people find a way. They find a way. I think Dowdle is seeing the usage and enough in the receiving game that he can have a decent day. I'm not saying he's going to have a good day. I still have Dowdle as, where do I have him? Like a low-end running back too, but I think he's fine. Craig says, are you worried about Lions defense against Dowdle? There you go. Jacob says, Wicks, Shaheed, or Trey Sermon in the flex. Give me Wicks. Pick a side in this trade. Saquon, DK, Flowers versus Bijan, Neighbors, Chase Brown. Damn. I think you take Bijan, Neighbors, Chase Brown. Craig says Cole Kmet or David Njoku. FYI, Zach Ertz is on waivers. I'd rather go Cole Kmet than David Njoku right now. But Zach Ertz might just be the better play of all of them. But maybe not against the Ravens. I'd say Cole Kmet. Chaz says PPR bench one. Connor, Bucky, Pollard, or Deontay. Thanks. We're benching one of these guys. The bench to me is Bucky. We bench Bucky. Jay Smells, full PPR. Should I trade my Metcalf and Stroud for Mayfield, Mooney, and Connor? No, I'm going Stroud and Metcalf still. Matt, no PPR. Hubbard or Pollard. No PPR. Deontay or Cooper. With no PPR in both of those, I'm going with Pollard and Cooper. Steven, Chase Brown, Slayton, Wicks, Sermon, or Kirk, half PPR. Give me Chase Brown and Wicks if there's no Christian Watson. If Christian Watson is in, give me Slayton. John says 12-team league, non-PPR, start 3 wide receivers in a flex. JD 5, Dobbins, Hubbard, AJ Brown. So starting 3 wide receivers in a flex. You just want me to pick them? Of the 3 wide receivers you play, AJ Brown, Evans, and I'm so confused as where the question is here. John, throw the question back in the chat. I'm trying to figure out what I am supposed to be doing here. Am I supposed to be helping you set your lineup, or are you just flexing the squad? Jay Smells says, I have Rashad White, Breece Hall, Stroud, Love, Deontay, Neighbors. What to work on? Who do I start? Who do I start? Where's your lineup? I guess if I'm answering this question, I need a little bit more context than this, Jay Smells, but it's, I guess if you're starting the 2 running backs, a basic lineup of like 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, I'm going Breece Hall and Chase or Pollard. And then wide receiver, you're going. Yeah, I'm going to need you to throw this one back in there. Sorry, man. Raul says Kraft or Laporta, full PPR. Give me Laporta. Actually, give me Laporta still. Nino says Tolbert or Pickens at the flex. Give me Pickens. Wissam says Biggs up from Honolulu. Bless up, my guy. Dude, appreciate you being here from Honolulu, bro. That's dope. Appreciate it. Thank you. Braden says, how long do you think Jordan Mason is out? I don't think he misses a game, but we don't know much about it right now. Nicholas, should I trade Kenneth Walker and Myers for Achane and Chase Brown? No. Johnny says, tonight's vibes are akin to fantasy football's version of F, Marry, Kill. Yeah, that's how it feels right now. It's how it feels right now. What would you do with this guy, and this guy? Pause. Michael says, standard league, Dell or Godwin? Give me Godwin. Psalm says, LMAO, J-Smell's been asking all the junior YouTubers. This bro is talking or taking a poll to see who he can trust. I like it. Not going to lie, I might be doing the same thing. We the junior YouTubers. All right, man. Taking a poll. I don't really understand what the question was. I wish I could answer his question, but I don't understand what that question was. Steven says, Daniels or Kyler? Should I be worried Baltimore's defense? I'd still play Daniels. Kyle says full PPR, 2 flex, my Garrett Wilson and JK for his Bijan and Zay Flowers. Wilson and JK for Bijan and Zay. I think the Bijan and Zay Flowers is the side that I go with. Craig says, think Evans is viable this week versus Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah, I mean, we're still tempering the expectations. I think he's still a wide receiver 2 play, though. John, non-PPR flex start Eckler, Ramondre, Wandell, Robinson, or Goddard. Well, it sounds like Ramondre's not playing. Non-PPR, I guess Eckler, you just hope Eckler can get into the end zone. Non-PPR with Wandell feels crazy. I can't imagine playing him in a non-PPR. Give me your anytime touchdown scorer as the last leg in a 5-leg parlay. Okay. I have a 5-leg anytime touchdown scorer parlay going right now. Who do I have on it? You can choose, but I want you to put one of the Lions running backs on there, Gibbs or Montgomery. I think both of them get into the end zone this week. So any of the Lions running backs, Gibbs or Montgomery, I'm rocking with Montgomery on mine. I think he's in the end zone. So if you already have him, maybe you do Gibbs too, but that's what I would be doing. One of the Lions running backs. Austin says sit 3 of these guys, full PPR tight end premium. Dobbins, Bigsby, Cooper, Dell, Wicks, Jamo, Shakir, Kraft. We're sitting 3 of them. You sit Bigsby. You sit Shakir because I don't think Shakir is playing. And I guess probably you sit one of the Green Bay players, Wicks or Kraft. I think maybe I'm sitting Wicks and I'm starting Kraft. That's probably what I would do, Austin. Michael says standard league, start Love or Mayfield. Give me Jordan Love. Clarity, full PPR. Do I drop Bigsby and start Slayton in place of Olave? Already have Wandell. No, I would play Olave over Slayton this week still. Anderson says 12-man full PPR, 1 flex. Do I trade Tyreek for Devontae Adams? My other receivers are Mike Evans and Justin Jefferson. No, I keep Tyreek Hill. Dixon says full PPR, Laporta or Ferguson. I like Ferguson more. Both this week and rest of season. I think I also like Ferguson more rest of season, to be honest. Ferguson is looking legit as hell. So give me Ferguson in both of those situations. Looking to trade one at some point, but waiting on Devontae Adams news before trading anyone. Yeah, I like Ferguson more. Michael says standard league, Burrow or Daniels. Give me Daniels. Cheryl says I need 2 QBs, O'Connell, Rattler, or Richardson, full PPR. 2 of them. I'm going with Rattler and Richardson if you need 2 of those guys. Callahan says, would you rather trade away Drake London in a PPR dynasty for a late 25 first, Kittle and Flowers? Would you trade away Drake London in a PPR dynasty for a late 25 first, Kittle and Flowers? If you're a contending roster, I think you can argue getting Kittle and Flowers and the first. London's the best player in the deal, but I think there's more value on the Flowers, Kittle, and the first side. Six Rings Dynasty says, you're tapping in for a quick second. Keep working hard, bro. You killing it. I appreciate you, Six Rings, and I know I got to get back to you in the Discord. I apologize. I will get back to you to your DM in the Discord here this evening. I apologize, man. Thank you. Kyle says, Higgins, Dell, and Mixon need to start 1 wide receiver and 1 flex, full PPR. If Mixon plays, I'm going Mixon and Higgins. If he doesn't play, I'm going with Dell and Higgins, obviously. Matt Bro says, regular PPR, would you rather have Najee Harris or Sam Laporta? I got Demont and Etienne at running back and McBride at tight end. Your choice would go at flex. I like Najee more than Sam Laporta this week. Nicholas, where do you have K9 ranked rest of the season? I don't really have rest of season rankings at the moment, but I can't imagine that I would have any rankings without K9 being in the top 10. He's a top 10 guy the rest of the way, probably closer to the top 5 than he is to 10 overall. So definitely love the way that he looks the rest of the way. The Roll says, I traded Marv, K9, and Levis for Caleb Dobbins and Pollard in a Dynasty 2 QB. Who won? I traded Marv, K9, and Levis for Caleb Dobbins and Pollard in a Dynasty 2 QB. I think that there's more value on the Marv and K9 side, but in a 2 QB Dynasty, I think Caleb is the most valuable asset. So I don't hate going to Caleb, but I think there's more value on the Marvin and K9 side. But so if you're looking who won, who got more value, probably the Marv side. But I understand going to get Caleb because he still looks like he's legit. Matt Bro says it's a trade. So who would I rather have, Laporta or Najee? Give me Najee still. Johnny says, what picks are you adding to Lamar to get Daniels in a 12-team start 10 4-point passing touchdown dynasty or tier of players instead of a pick? What are you adding to Lamar to get Daniels? It's not going to be a lot, like really not a lot at all. Maybe one first, and that might be it to go from Lamar to Daniels, and that's only because I'm giving you a first because I'm buying the youth, the extra years. That might be the only real piece that I'm giving on top of it, but outside of that, I'll just rock with Lamar. But one first, I'll throw one first on top of Lamar to go get Daniels. Kale says Jalen Tolbert or Jamison Williams. Give me Jamison Williams there. I have Monty, CD, Brees, Henry, and Jacobs. Give me your 5-legger so I can tail. Okay. Let's see what we got. Sorry, I gotta log into my DraftKings. So my 5-legger that I have right now is James Conner, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, and where's the 5th one? I gotta scroll down. Terry McLaurin. That's the 5 that I got. The McLaurin one's a little sketchy, I'm not gonna lie, but I have McLaurin there. Craig says, think week 5 Juju Smith-Schuster was a fluke, or you think this is pickup is a must? I think he's a pickup. I don't know if it's going to be real, but he definitely should be picked up. Seth says, would you trade Rice and Addison in start 9 Dynasty Best Ball for BTJ? Would you trade Rice and Addison in start 9 Dynasty Best Ball? No, I would not trade those 2 assets for 1 asset in a start 9 Dynasty Best Ball. Shrey says, I have to start Leggett or Tracy in flex PPR. Do I drop Slayton for Leggett and start him instead? I would rather play Slayton over Leggett if Deontay Johnson is in the lineup. So I guess you got to wait until we figure out about Deontay Johnson's availability. Six Ring says, 55 people watching, only 36 likes. What are we doing? We got 37 now, but I feel that for sure. We got 54 people right now. If you're tapped in, you haven't hit that like button, go hit that like button for me, man. Appreciate it. Wassam says, hey, love the work, big homie. Winners this week. Mine, Bears, Bucks, Ravens, Packers, Broncos. Oh, shit. All right. Look, let's go through it. I'm going to go through the schedule real quick. This is gut feel. Take it for what you will. It's just gut feel. When I look at the schedule, what do I think is going to happen? Chicago versus Jacksonville, I got Chicago. Arizona versus Green Bay, give me Green Bay. Indy versus Tennessee. It's a tough one. Houston versus New England, I guess give me Houston. Tampa Bay, New Orleans, give me Tampa. Cleveland, Philly, give me Philly. Washington, Baltimore, give me Baltimore. Los Angeles, Denver, give me Los Angeles. Pittsburgh, Las Vegas, give me Pittsburgh. Detroit, Dallas, give me Detroit. Atlanta, Carolina, give me Atlanta. Cincinnati, New York, give me Cincinnati. And then on Monday night, Buffalo, New York. I don't hate the New York pick. Where are we at? Michael says, I need help. Gibson or Chase Brown and Myers or Olave? I would go Chase Brown and Olave here. The Roll says start one this week. Full PPR, Mike Williams, AD Mitchell, or Leggett. It's a 14-man league. I like Leggett the most out of all of these players. Kyle says, what do you think about the Tay Adams situation? It's going to get figured out, man. In my opinion, I think he should have been traded, but it sounds like they keep trying to work it out. I don't know what there is to work out because he doesn't get the ball for 2 more weeks. He's going to pout again. He's going to cry again. He's going to want to get traded again. I think the best thing for the Raiders long term is to just move the dude. Move him, see what you can get, and whatever. But I think he's going to be moved here shortly or whatever. That's just the best situation for them. Saul says, I'm struggling with who to plug in. Running back 2, wide receiver 2, and a flex. My options are George Pickens, Dontavion Wicks, Ladd McConkey, Tucker Kraft, Chase Brown, and Bigsby. So we need a running back 2, a wide receiver 2, and a flex. So for the running backs, between Brown and Bigsby, I like Brown. For the wide receivers, between Pickens, Wicks, McConkey, I like Pickens. And for the flex, throw in Tucker Kraft. Go Pickens, Kraft, Brown. Man, there's a ton of Wicks questions tonight. Jets beat Bills, lock. I don't hate it. Craig says, Bo Nix playing better. You think Chargers D is a good play this week? Vikings on bye. I don't think they're a bad play. They're a good defense, and Bo Nix is still a little erratic at times. Matt says, any receivers you target for trading ETN and PPR? I think he's a guy that if you can get that tier, like if people still believe in ETN, which it's hard to sell ETN right now because there's so much negative talk, and I feel like the Bigsby hype is getting kind of crazy. Which, by the way, I was a year early on the Bigsby hype last year, but looked like an idiot. And now, I faded Bigsby, and now there you go. But that's fantasy. That said, if you can get like a Terry McLaurin, if you can get a guy like, look, let me just pull up the list. I need to stop trying to remember guys off the top of my head. If I can get a guy like McLaurin, I can get a guy like, if you can buy low on Olave at the moment, Zay Flowers, Amari Cooper, George Pickens, J-Mo, like if you can get those guys, I don't mind going for those types of wide receivers. The Roll says, I was also thinking of Leggett. I have him in right now. Raul says, what's your tiebreaker for Bills at Jets? What do you mean a tiebreaker? Like, what's the point? What's the score? Throw that in there, Raul. What are you looking for the score? Is that like what the tiebreaker is? The Roll says, call me crazy, but Swift over ETN in Dynasty and redraft. I don't know if it's crazy, but I feel you. Word, I'll be back to see who's right. Please do. Keaton says, flex options for this week. Wicks, Eckler, Kirk, Tolbert. Kind of thinking Tolbert since I have Dak. Appreciate you as always, my man. Let's see. Eckler, Kirk, Tolbert. I do like Tolbert there. If Brian Robinson is out, though, you have to play Eckler. I think because he's just going to get more work. So, Tolbert for now. If Robinson is out, I don't mind you going Eckler. Flex who? Dell, Slayton, Eckler without B-Rob, or Rashid without Carr. I would go Dell in this situation of all of them. John says, Mike Evans, 5 touchdowns this season, facing Marshawn Lattimore this week. What you think of Evans anytime touchdown? I wouldn't do it. I don't trust Evans against Lattimore right now. Johnny says, bruh, I thought alcohol wasn't your thing. A first on top of Lamar for Daniels. Someone must have swapped your water for vodka. Hey, I'd do it. I got water in the cup. I think you can see it. It's just water in the cup, man. But yeah, maybe call me crazy. I'm in on the Daniels hype at the moment. You're basically getting Lamar at the start of his career. I think that's what you're getting with Daniels. So why not throw a first on top of it? The Roll says, redraft, Superflex, 14-man league. I got A.J. Brown and Bo Nix. They got London, Devontae Smith. Who won? I like the London and Devonta Smith side. Raul says, score. Let's see, man. The score of that game. I'm going to go... I'm going to go 17-24 as the score in that one. 17-24. And I think the Jets probably win that one. 17-24, the Jets. I get a wide receiver upgrade from London to A.J. Brown and get the QB and Bo Nix. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on your QB. 14 teams crazy, but yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on your team situation. Craig says, thanks for the info. This is my first time stopping in, subscribed, and like. Craig, you the GOAT. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. PJ says, start Kraft or Laporta. I think I'm still going to go with Laporta here. Half PPR flex 1, Pollard, Connor, or DJ Moore. I like flex 1. I want to play both Connor and DJ Moore. I think I'm going to lean DJ Moore, though. DJ Moore's the guy. Actually, half PPR, I'm going James Conner. James Conner and a half PPR. Kean says, one more for you. Start 3, Garrett Wilson, Godwin, A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers. I'm going to go Wilson. Actually, I'm going to go Godwin, A.J. Brown, Flowers. We're going to bench Wilson. Rex says, I traded Bijan and Najee for Brees and Waddle. I have Braylon too. Not bad. Caleb over Daniels in Dynasty. Maybe. John says, Godwin, AJ, Zay, easy. Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. Raul says, my guess was 44, but seems high. Oh, so we just got to know the game total. For me, the game total would be like 41. I'd go 41. Alenda says, standard scoring need 2. Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins, Mooney, or Brian Thomas. Need 2. Give me Mooney and BTJ. Crafter, Laporta, rest of season. I think I still lean Laporta. The roll says, I made a bet if Chris Olave has more PPR points than Zay Flowers, I win $30 and vice versa. Am I still looking good with Carr out? If he has more PPR points than Zay Flowers, probably not this week. The matchup with Zay Flowers is, he says at end of season. I don't know. It's going to be tough right now. It's going to be tough for the next couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to get sketchier. And I'm going to call this final call for the questions, folks, because we are at 1 hour and 2 minutes. So we usually go for about an hour. So final call on the questions. I'll still be live for about 2-3 more minutes, but let's get those last ones in here. Jay says, who wins the trade? Higgins plus ETN for Jay Jetta. Give me Jay Jetta. Kyle says, how do you think Nick Chubb will look behind that line? It's going to be tough, man. I don't have a ton of high hopes for Nick Chubb, but Jerome Ford has been serviceable. Donta Foreman has been serviceable. RB2 numbers, maybe, from Nick Chubb. Maybe it'll help them. I hope he looks good. I'm rooting for him, but it's just that injury is tough, and the team doesn't look great right now. JCast says, what are your thoughts on Joe Mixon moving forward? Look, when he gets back in the lineup, man, I think he's still going to be a really good play. I mean, from what we saw week 1, it looks like they want to use the hell out of him, and if they do, he's going to be a good running back. So I would be probably higher on him than probably most rest of the season, just because I love the offense and I love Joe Mixon as a talent. Rex says, team is Josh Allen, Cook, Brees, Bucky, Evans, T, Kelsey, Puka, Collins, Waddle, JSN, Brooks. Traded Bijan and Najee. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a good squad. Super Bowl winner right now, I'm going Ravens. Can I say Minnesota? As a fan, can I say Minnesota? No, if I'm really gonna go, I still think Kansas City, man. Unfortunately, I still think Kansas City is just that damn good. I'm hearing rumors of Higgins to the Commanders is in talks. Dude, that would be awesome. That would be awesome for the Commanders. Dabs has traded ETN, BTJ, and Chubb for Tyreek and JT. Thoughts? I like that for you. Thanks for all the help. Let's kill it week 6. Hell yeah. McLaurin or Devontae Smith. I'm going to speed through these last ones, folks. McLaurin or Devontae Smith. Give me Devontae Smith. Nico plus Monty for Brees and McConkey. Who wins? Give me the Nico and Monty side. Johnny, how many completions does Goff have before his first incomplete pass this week? He only needs 7 to break the record. How many before his first incomplete pass? Johnny, we're going 5. He gets 5 completions before he has an incomplete pass this week. That's just off the top of my head. I don't know. I'm just being a hater. Just because it's you, Johnny. Wisdom says, thank you for your help, brother. Bless up and mahalo. Mahalo to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Scotty says, new sub, pick 2, Amari Cooper, Jameson Williams, or Deontay Johnson. If Deontay plays, it's Deontay and J-Mo will bench Cooper. But if Deontay doesn't play, you obviously have to play Cooper and J-Mo. We already saw that one. John says, Andy Reid and Spagnuolo, best coaching staff. Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, second best coaching staff. Damn straight. Gloom My Glover says Slayton or Shaheed. I think give me Slayton right now, knowing what we know. And then Tingley, final question here. PPR, BTJ, or Christian Kirk this week? Just asking because of Jalen Johnson. I still like BTJ over Christian Kirk this week, especially if Evan Engram is back in the lineup, which he's still questionable, I think. Johnny says, hater, love you anyways. Johnny, you be hating too, man. You know, it's a mutual, we be hating on each other, but it's out of love. It's like, it's how you fuck with the boy. You know, when you're friends with your homie, you guys are boys, you fuck with each other. That's the way that we do it. I appreciate it, Johnny. So that is it, folks. If your question did not get answered, we got through a shit ton of questions tonight. There's like 180 comments in the chat right now. I think we answered every single one of them. So we went through a ton of questions. If you still got questions, I will plug this. There is a free Discord linked in the description. You guys can go join that Discord. Ask me questions in there. I try and get there as much as I can. I should probably be in there more. I apologize for the folks that are in there because during season, it's just crazy as shit, man. It's so busy that I try and be in there as much as I can. I try and answer those questions when I can. But the good part about being in that Discord is you got all of these people that are in the chat tonight. You got a ton of people in that Discord that also want to help you talk some football, help you get better at fantasy football. It's the best place to be, man. So I appreciate you guys if you're in there. Also, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you comment. And clarity, Texans or Broncos D this week? Give me the Texans. And that'll be it, folks. So I appreciate you. I'll see you on our next episode. We are going live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern to do some underdog drafts. If you want to come hang out, draft some teams, let's do that. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.